Hello, welcome to another edition of Between Two Out. I'm your host, Tom Bryce, and with us today is Assistant Dean Evelyn Vleck. Thanks so much for joining us today, Evelyn.
Well, thank you for having me, Tom.
So, where did you grow up, Evelyn?
I grew up in Cleveland, outside of Cleveland. My parents were immigrants, and they came over from Germany, and we landed there because my aunt lived there, actually.
And what kind of stuff did you like to do as a kid?
I was both a jock, I guess, or tomboy, if you will, and a geek at the same time. I liked learning all kinds of things. I played every sport I can imagine, was pretty much a daredevil. So yeah, my parents held their breath a lot.
And did you have any nicknames growing up?
Not really. Not really. There's not much you can do with Evelyn. Yeah, no. My dad called me Evie once in a while, but other than that, that's it.
And do you have any siblings?
I do. I'm the oldest of 4 children. It goes girl, boy, and there's 13 years between us. So
Wow.
Quite an age span. Yep.
And what would they say about you?
What would they say about me? Oh, wow, that's a hard question. That I'm very easy to make fun of. That would be my littlest brother's response. My sister always tells me that I'm the most giving person that she knows, so I guess that's what she would say. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it.
And where did you go for your undergraduate degree?
Well, that's interesting because I'm not the traditional student. It took me 8 years to get my undergraduate degree, and not because I failed, but because I was extremely poor and and we moved a lot. When I got married young at 20, almost 21, and my husband was moving up the corporate ladder, and so we moved a lot. And because we were moving from state to state, I established residency every time so that I could pay in-state tuition. So I'd get a couple classes under my belt, and then we'd move again with his job. And so each time it took me a while. So I'm not the traditional student, which is kind of really fun. I'm also a first generation student, so that's helpful also. But I use myself a lot as an example because I want students to know that you can get there, right? Regardless of what the path is.
And so where was your final institution to earn a degree? So you moved around a lot, which
probably one you've never heard of, but St. Joseph's University in Fort Wayne, Indiana was for my bachelor's degree. Fort Wayne, Indiana.
No, I know.
What my degree was. Oh, it was in biology. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and let me go back for a second. So how did you meet your husband?
That's a funny story. I was working, and a colleague of mine said that she wanted to set me up on a blind date with a friend who had just broken up with his girlfriend, which already starts out as not such a good deal. And so we had to go to the apartment to wait for this guy to come home from work. And the fellow who ends up being my husband was this guy's roommate. And so he was under the bathroom sink fixing the sink. And that's how we got introduced. And needless to say, the blind date was an absolute bust. We drove around and looked for his ex-girlfriend. So yeah, not a good thing.
And then let me go back to your move. So how many times did you end up moving?
At the last count, probably 23.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then for your master's degree, where did you go for that?
I went to William Patterson in New Jersey and did a master's in biology there. Even though it was an MA degree, it was a thesis degree there. You still had to do a thesis for your master's. So
what was your thesis on?
It was actually looking at fetal alcohol syndrome.
Really?
I worked with mice, and we were trying to establish a threshold for people knew that alcohol, was a problem, but they didn't know how much. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, we didn't come to a definitive conclusion on that either, as to, what's the breaking point or the tipping point for fetal alcohol syndrome.
And so let's fast forward a little bit. So what brought you to Temple?
Actually, again, my husband's job brought us to Pennsylvania, and I was looking for a job at the time and happened to see the ad in the paper. Actually, it was in the newspaper at that point, uh, and applied for it. And Dr. Sheffield, who a lot of people know, was actually chair of the department at the time, and he hired me for the first time.
Awesome. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
yeah.
Oh, cool. And what do you like most about working with Temple students?
I just love their energy, and the diversity, and knowing that they come and bring all these different components of their own lives and their heritage and their cultures and their backgrounds. I think is really, really interesting, and one of the things I think is really valuable for students when they come to Temple. Many students come from areas that might not be as diverse, and I think it's something that Temple has the great fortune to have, is this diverse student population. So yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. What do you like to do for fun?
What do I like to do for fun? I like being outside. I like being around horses, although I haven't done that in a while. My daughter used to ride, and I was at the barn a great deal when she was younger. So I miss that, but I like going to horse shows. I like gardening, and I like doing things with my hands. So I like redecorating. I like painting. I like anything that I can do in the house that makes things brighter and more fun, or changes things up.
Cool. What are you currently reading?
I am not currently reading anything, mostly because there's not a lot of time. However,
Mm,
I have on my nightstand, with full intention of reading, Michelle Obama's Becoming.
awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
And what about do you have like a Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that?
Um, I do, but there's a new show called Virgin River that
Mhm.
I'm waiting for the new episodes to come out. I'm also a big fan of the British baking show for some
Okay.
reason.
Mhm.
But yeah, so
What would you
HGTV, anything like that, I'm in.
mm. And what would you say is a fault of yours?
Oh, I worry too much. I'm always thinking about what might be, or what an outcome might be, and I overanalyze. And so that sometimes can stand in my way. I think that's my
Mhm.
biggest fault.
Do you have a dream vacation spot or destination?
Oh, I would very much love to go to Hawaii. I've not been to
Hmm.
Hawaii. I'd also like to eventually go to Japan and see more of Europe, actually. So lots of different places. Have actually entertained getting an RV to try to do the United States when I
Oh,
retire.
wow. Cool.
Yeah.
And what are you most looking forward to doing in Philly post-pandemic?
Oh, just going out and going to a restaurant.
Mhm.
I used to do this once a month with some colleagues, and just go out to eat, and we would try someplace brand new.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was great fun, because I've never been a real Philly city person. I live in the suburbs, and so for me it's a great adventure to, learn more about the city, and there's so many great restaurants and things in the city that it's really nice to do that. So I miss that a lot.
What do you listen to in the car? What's on your Spotify list
Uh,
or your CD player or iPod or
I
whatever?
love all kinds of music. Probably classical is my least favorite, and
Hmm.
maybe jazz the second least favorite, but I like all kinds of
So you never
alternative.
listen to Temple's radio station?
Once in a great while, sorry, Temple's radio station. Um, but I like all kinds of things. Like I love, Louis Capaldi and oh God, the names. I love like Imagine Dragons and Thunder and all of like
Cool.
a really huge diverse.
You're a hipster.
I'm a hipster. Yeah, yeah. You can tell, obviously.
I've been changing things up. I'm going to do something called rapid fire response. I'll give you 2 words. You just state your preference. Tea
Okay.
or coffee?
Coffee.
Morning or night?
Night.
Dark or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Offense or defense?
Offense.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Bert or Ernie?
Oh, Bert.
That's the best reaction I've had to that ever. Thank you for that. Half full or half empty?
Half full.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on the show today. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Take care.
Let me just.
Bye-bye.